Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome, one and all, to another edition of Visionaries and Truthtellers. I am Anthony L. Carter, the producer, the host, the madman, creative genius behind all these shenanigans. As you know, I'm usually stalking people to find them to be on the show. I do a lot of Twitter stalking. However, this is somebody that I didn't have to do stalking to get onto the show. Luckily, even though most skills are still up and about. This is somebody I've known since 1997, 96. Yeah.
No, maybe 96, maybe 96. But yeah,
Okay. So it's been
97.
it's been a while.
God, can you believe
And
that?
I'm gonna let her introduce herself. She's a great lady, so take it away. Give us your 30-second bio and welcome.
My 30-second bio. Okay. Well, I am a filmmaker. I am a director. I'm an educator. I've been in this country since, oh God, since no, that's a lie. Since 1991, and was in England previously, working as an actor. And then when I came here, I started off as an actor, and then I became a director. so, so it's been like a huge learning curve journey my whole entire life. But I'm glad to say it's a great one.
Okay.
One thoroughly, and meeting so many people along the way that have become lifelong friends and lifelong collaborators.
Okay. Very good. Was it hard to make the switch to go from being an actor or an actress to a director?
No, actually, it wasn't hard at all. Um, because I think as an actor, which probably won't sound so great, but I think I was very aware of the story of the story. Oh,
Mhm.
sorry, is that a bang? I was very aware of the story arc always when I was doing any kind of show, and and also is really, yeah, spatially very. It was always a big thing for me to be um, in that kind of space, headspace. So, which sounds like I wasn't a terribly good actor, doesn't it? But so when people started asking me to direct, I did a bit of directing in England, but not that much. Um, it was primarily acting. And then when I came here, people kept asking me to direct once I joined Ensemble Studio Theatre, which is where I met you, Anthony.
Mhm.
Um, and then it felt a very natural place to go to. In fact, I kind of wondered why I'd never done it before. But I think very often the journey you take before you do another thing in your life or another part of a plot placement in your life is usually because you need to learn it in order to do something else. So, life is a series of adventures, isn't it? Generally.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky and wise enough, whatever the next thing is, you're being prepared for it wherever you are in your life now. And
Yeah.
many times you don't know that. You just kind of like, why am I going through this? Or what is going on?
Sometimes you have no idea, and sometimes it seems. Oh, my mum always did say, actually, I'm not surprised you're directing, because you're always really aware. Like you say, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. I was like, what? Apparently, that's what I would say, but I don't remember saying that.
Right.
Um, but that's so. Yeah, it is interesting. It's interesting to know, and I really do think you're never stuck in one place either. I always encourage actors to write or directors to act, or I mean, I think one of the things that you and I found that was so amazing at EST, the lab, was or was it the lab, what was it, it was the retreat, right?
It was a retreat, yes.
And we actually did a scene together. I still
Mhm.
remember that from the Durang play, right?
Right, with the salad bar.
No, it was the other one, Beyond Therapy.
Okay.
And it was that very funny scene where we're in a restaurant and you keep going on about my body parts. I don't know if
Right.
you're. It's a great scene. But yeah, I think it's great, and that lab, that retreat, encouraged people to do everything besides what was their normal, the disciple, what they normally do. So
Mm-hmm.
you really learn how to do, or not how to do it, but how to investigate those different things. It's
Yeah,
good.
um I remember that summer, and I remember it was really a wonderful, scary time
Oh yeah,
because when I went up there not as a writer, as a director. I went there as an actor and a
yeah,
new actor. And all of a sudden, it was like, okay, well, you've done the scene, you've done your acting. Now go over here and direct these
yeah.
two people in a comedy, or go over and direct these two people in a drama, you know, and figure it out.
Yeah.
And there was no time to say, well, I don't want to, or I'm feeling uncomfortable. It's like you had to just do it and then
Actually,
do it again and then do it again and then do it again.
repetition keeps you green. And I always think that's such a great thing. I think, and I take credit for that saying, but Al Pacino said that in one Charlie Rose interview.
Mhm.
And I'm like, yes, repetition keeps you green. And it's always like those layers of doing something over and over again is what creates the work and what allows you to find the work. Very often through that method, actually. And there's no quick way of doing it either. It's really a process.
Yeah, and you have to, I think that's the scary part because you don't know where it's going. People ask you
Oh,
to do things that you think I haven't done this before. I have to like figure, and they know I haven't done. So
but
you're
that
not fooling anybody by trying to come in there and
No, that's totally okay, I think. And I mean, you really do discover. Actually, it's funny because I think that was one of the first lives where I wrote a piece, and it scared the shit out of me actually. But um, it's I mean, what the great thing about that whole process was that you really did understand what it was to be in somebody else's feet, somebody else's shoes. So
Mhm.
whether you were an actor in a writer's shoes or a writer in an actor's shoes or whatever it was just it really made you very aware of what what that entails, and hopefully made us better as artists.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you a different one of the things that I learned pretty early on when I first got to New York. I got there in 95. One of the things that I learned pretty early was that, I would see actors, and maybe they still do this, I'm not sure, I'm sure they do, but I would see actors and they would complain about not getting work, not getting this, not getting that gig, this isn't working out, blah, 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 blah. And one of the things that somebody told me who was a writer, this lady was a writer, she was a writer and director and an actress. And she said, and I don't remember even how it even came up, but she said, yeah, every actor should learn to write,
Oh
and
yeah.
should do stand up. Not to become some great stand up, but stand up will teach you how to get to the funny or the drama faster because
Oh
there's
yeah.
no room for fluff in stand up. And
Yeah.
she was saying if you do that and if you learn how to write and you take improv, that's what she said, take improv, learn how to write, um, then you'll only not be working when you're not working. You won't be at the mercy of whoever's hiring this week. And I
No,
thought, really? And
it-
then when I started doing it, that's when I started working a lot more.
yeah, no, it's so true actually. And it's so funny that I always think about stand-up artists being, how many stand-up artists actually turn to film actors acting in film, and they really are so fantastic because they know that they know the bullshit. They're no bullshit artists, you know what I mean? So the first thing an audience will sniff out is if you're talking bullshit. And a stand-up artist can't do that. It's like a good one. There's bad ones, obviously, but they cannot do that. They have to be very truthful and they have to be real and they have to like really hone into that genuine part of yourself. And I think that's so important to the craft as well. So it's funny when you look at any of those stand-up artists that have made it, Jim Carrey or Billy Crystal, any of those chaps actually. It's
Mhm.
just like there's certain stand-up artists I'm like they were a stand-up artist and then but then they're a wonderful actor and I'm just like that's why.
Right.
early on. Yeah, so but it is, and they're writing all their own material, obviously. Have you done
Right,
stand? Did
right,
you do
sure. Mhm.
you do stand up?
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Do you do stand up?
I used to many, many, many moons ago, and I loved it. I did it for 2.5 years, and I had my own comedy room in the village that I ran. So I would recruit, I'd go out and I'd go to comedy shows and recruit other stand-ups. I would pay them. I had headliners. I'd go out and bark. I would lie to people and tell them like Chris Rock and Jerry Seinfeld come into the show. You got to get those butts in the seats. But yeah, I loved it. Like I said, it was one of the things where the feedback was so immediate, like you
Yeah,
said, so honest and so true.
know
And
if
you
you're
could and you could even do something. It's what?
if you're bombing.
Oh yeah,
Let's
yeah. And you could even do something where you may do one set. There was a place I used to do stand up. They paid us in sushi. It was in the village, and they would pay you in sushi.
delicious if you like sushi.
Yeah, it was a big hit. But yeah, you find out immediately, okay, this isn't working or this is working. And I actually had a writing partner and for about a year, and we worked together and we would call each other and I'd say, okay, here's the punchline. And I know it's funny. Give me a setup. Or here's the setup, give me three punch. We would do that back and
Yeah,
forth. And, we book people for shows. It was an experience and I learned a whole lot. And
yeah.
I wish I had stuck with it. That's one of my regrets. Wish I had the courage because the stuff that I was talking about, then nobody was talking about it. And now everybody's
What were you
talking about it.
what were you talking about?
I was talking
What were
about gay marriage and police brutality and all kinds of stuff that people were, what do you say? And it just, and if I had just stuck with it long enough, the tide would have turned.
yeah.
And now that's what everybody's talking about,
Actually,
right?
you'd have to talk about something else because now everyone's talking about it. So you're ahead of
Right.
you're ahead of the
Right.
curve.
I'm gonna find something else that nobody's talking about and make it fun. And wait another 30 years for them to catch up. Come on, come on, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's be ahead of the curve. I think that's kind of vital actually and also for yourself as an artist, it's like, okay, I've got that. What do I do next? That
Right.
to me is really important to be aware of where you want to go, where you want to go next in your journey as an artist. Uh,
Yes.
you
So
know,
everything gets used, everything gets put in the pot. And who
yeah,
knows when you'll need it. Let me
yeah.
switch gears just a bit. I want to hear it. Tell me about Icarus and these films and Weird Sisters.
Well, okay, so there's a few things. Okay, Weird Sisters started actually as a result of there being no women being produced, no women artists being produced, and so I was talking to a few of my girlfriend writers and directors, and I said, "Well, if you're not being produced, let's produce it. Let's do it." So we created that company. Really, that was the first. That was why. So it never really stopped after that either, because always there's women needing to be supported and needing to be produced, authentic voices. So which is now, of course, that's what everyone's getting. But at the time, it really was difficult. I think now it's still a bit difficult, to be honest with you, but it's getting better. And then from doing the theatrical thing, I was very interested in creating film. And then one of my partners at the time said, why don't you make one of the theatrical things that we'd done at EST over and over again, which my husband Denny had written, and they were like, that would make a great film. So that was our debut, which was Caught in Time, which was the baseball films, the trilogy of baseball films. That was really our foray into filmmaking. Which we shot at Shea Stadium, which no longer exists. Well, there's a new Shea Stadium now, but the one where we shot is no longer around. So history is an historical site on our film. So really, that was the first inclination of making Weird Sisters happen, and then it's been going ever since. And you mentioned Icarus, which was the film, which was also another EST member had come to me with this short story and said, what do you think about making this into a film? And I was like, absolutely. It was with an owl. I've noticed that I make films with animals, children, which they say you should never do. And I seem to do that. Can't get away from those subject matters. Um, and the last one actually that I've just shot, The Lion, was not with any animals, but it was with puppets and a fantastic actress, Judith Roberts, who do you know Judith Roberts from Eraserhead? She played the beautiful woman, beautiful girl across the hall.
No,
So
I don't, but I will look her up.
yeah, I just did that. We just finished shooting that a couple of weeks ago, actually. But the Icarus was the film that we shot pre-pandemic. Everything's like BC, right? Before COVID. And it was on the circuit actually during pandemic, and I do blame pandemic for its success because it won like an inordinately amount of awards that I'm to me that I'm still clueless how that happened. But especially COVID, I'm like, who's watching films in COVID? Well, everybody, I guess. But yeah, so that was that did its circuit and was with a wonderful group of actors. And Holly Harms adapted it actually from a Rick Bass story, and then and then just recently The Lion, which is now the latest, which I'm now going into edit mode for that. So, and that's another animation. That's a combination of animation and live action. So that was a big learning curve for me. And and again, like I always encourage people, it's like if you don't know something, like do it. It's like nothing's really scary if you just embrace it. You know what I mean?
Wow. Okay.
And
I don't
no,
know if I agree with that, but
if you don't know, I think it's great not to know actually a lot of because you don't know very much a lot of the time. But yeah, so that was we just shot that as I said, and that was really a joyous experience. It was an incredibly joyous experience. Very short, very small crew, but a very devoted crew. And this is a crazy thing as well. This was from a play that this wonderful writer Kira Oblensky had written, and we did it about 12 years ago, and I'm not kidding, 12 years ago, right? 2011, 12. And I said to Judith at the time, God, this would make a great film. We should make this into a film. I could see this animated anime thing in my head. And we just kept talking about it for years, literally for years. And then about 2 or 3 years ago, I said to Judith, it was like, we should really do that film, like we should make it into film. And I was like, yeah, should we ask Kira? And then we asked Kira and she was all over it. And as it turned out that her and her husband are also stop animation artists. They have skills in that side. So it was almost as if they'd just been sitting there waiting for us to ask them if we could make this film. And so we had this kind of incredible team brought together that like who knew really? Who knew except that it took 12 years in the making and then we did it. So
right.
nothing, it's like I think very often you have thoughts in your head, oh, I really should make this, or this would be a great idea. And it's always write it down. I always like write it down. You don't know where it's going to come from or how it's going to happen. But sooner or later it will happen if you put the focus on it. And focus is a big thing, right? Focus is a huge about making things happen. It's like manifestation, really. If you manifest, focus, it invariably happens. It really does.
That's why I'm doing that's why I came up with this show. It was an idea that I had way back in 2010.
Yeah.
And I put it off and I put it off and I put it off. And I had all these good reasons why I couldn't do it. I didn't know anybody, I didn't have any equipment, blah, 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 blah. And then COVID hit. And then I thought to myself, well, why not? Like everybody's at home.
Yeah.
And I started doing this 2.5 years ago. And it took me 3 or 4 interviews in before I realized, oh, wait a minute. this is the idea that I had a decade ago. And I didn't wait. I'm doing it. I didn't, and the only thing that changed was me and my perception of, okay, I'm just, and like you said, by the time I got scared, I was already in it.
Yeah,
I was
and
3 or 4 episodes in. I was like, oh, okay.
I'm
I was
doing
like,
it.
well, this is exactly what I said I wanted to do. It's exactly what I wanted to do. Okay. So I'm going to wrap us up. I'm going to have a few more questions for you.
Sure.
Um, I'm going to shoot them off rapid fire. These are some questions that I stole. I tell
Oh,
people all the time, I got them from Minnie Driver has a
oh,
podcast, and she interviewed Viola Davis. And I heard these questions probably 2 years ago, and I wrote them down as soon as I heard them.
you should
These
probably.
are really good. And it's always interesting the questions that people, the answers that people give.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
7, we'll try to get through 7 before Zoom boots us out.
Okay.
All
7. I
right,
like.
so are you ready? And then after this, you can tell people how they can find you. Here's your first question. What relationship, real or fictionalized, epitomizes love to you? What relationship, real or fictionalized, epitomizes love to you?
Denny and myself.
Okay. What question would you most like answered?
What?
What question would you most like answered?
What happens when you die?
Ooh. Okay, when in your life were you the happiest?
Now.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay, what quality do you least like about yourself? What quality do you least like about yourself?
Oh, oh God, I'm gonna sound so conceited. Um, oh, I can be really dogmatic.
Okay, okay,
Yeah. I think I've always been like that. I just got to get used to that.
okay. What person, place, or thing most affected your life?
What? What place or person or thing? My
Yes.
parents. My parents.
Your where? Paris?
No, my parents. Is
Oh,
that a
your
thing?
parents. Okay.
Right,
Okay.
people. My parents.
What would your last meal be? Your last meal?
Champagne.
You said champagne?
I'm
That's
drinking it
not a
right
meal.
now. It is. I'm drinking it right now.
I saw that earlier. What are we celebrating? Is it Sunday?
My birthday tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Cool. Okay, so you got started early.
Oh, I've been going a week.
All right, well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Here's the last one. What is something or what was something you created out of hardship? Something that was really a time in your life that was like dark or ugly, and you created something really wonderful and beautiful.
Oh, that's a really great question. Oh, I would say meeting the man of my life,
Okay.
Jenny, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. We will wrap it up here. How can folks find you? Oh, make sure they know how to send money to your production company too.
Oh, Christ.
So,
Actually, yes, that's great. Thank you for that.
yes. So
Um,
promote, promote, promote.
well, they can actually find Weird Sisters on Fractured Atlas, which is our not-for-profit umbrella. And if they look for Weird Sisters, they can find the line actually, because we're going into edit mode now, so we definitely need any support there, which would be fabulous. They can also go to my website, not to give money, but definitely to see what I'm up to, although it's seriously out of date. I've got to really update it. I should be saying that probably, but just where they can find me, that www.weirdsistersfilms.com. So Jonathan, I'm going to be calling you soon to update the website. And then what else? What was the other thing?
Well, that was it. Just how can they find you?
They can find me. I also teach at NYU in Columbia. I'm on the grad film directing film program there. So if they want to find, they can find me there, or they can find me on Weird Sisters site. Um, yeah, they can find me there. Am I supposed to say what my email is or something?
No, no, not your email. That weird and creepy. That's enough. I just want to make sure that if people want to see your films or want to contribute, they can do it.
Oh
So that's why I
yes,
was asking for that.
yeah. I mean, if yeah, just email me. Or just yeah. Actually, that's a very good question. Yeah, just email me or go to fracturedatlasweirdSisters.com. They can definitely Weird Sisters Films. Weird Sisters Films. They can find me there.
Okay, when is the new one that's coming out, The Lion? When is that
Yeah,
one? When is that one going to be ready for viewing?
it's usually about a year. I mean, if it was
Okay.
quicker than that, that would be amazing. Um, oh, I should actually give a shout out to Crystal Skillman because we're in development for a feature called Seven Variations on the Same Lover. Seven questions, seven variations on the same lover. So I should give a shout out to her because she's an incredible writer, and that's the new project which is coming out, and we will definitely need support for that, chaps. Um,
Yes.
hello. So yeah. Well, I don't know if there's anything else I should say contact wise. I mean, I should put a little banner.
We're going to put that on there. It'll be on there, and it'll have all your. It'll say Weird Sisters. It's going to have all of. That's how we, that's how the editor does it.
That's nice. That's nice. Yeah. You can have my Gmail. I mean, I can give that to you later. I mean, is
Yeah,
this
give it
fun?
to me later.
It's like, oh my God, tell her to shut up.
Well, all right. I'm gonna wrap us up and get you out of here so you can finish your celebrating.
Fun, Anthony.
Have a wonderful birthday. Tell Denny I said hello.
I
I'm gonna
will.
come and visit you in New York very soon because we're a lot
Oh,
closer now.
we can have drinks on the balcony. We have a lounge, a balcony lounge.
Okay,
Yeah, there you
good. Oh
go. Okay.
wow.
I don't know if you can see
Okay.
that. Can you see that? Kind of.
Yeah.
Isn't that great? It's pretty, right?
Wow. All right. I gotta start making more. I gotta make more films.
I'm gonna have drinks on the balcony.
You got it. All right. So have a great evening. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
So good to see you.
You
Bye.
too.